probably checked into 400 hotels this year. And when I tell you that this has happened to me more than half a dozen times, I am not exaggerating. Every hotel check-in begins usually the same. It's standard. Hotels, the people at the desk, they go, last name? And this just happened to me. Last name? And I go, Segura. And the guy goes, whoa, are you Japanese? And I go, 100%, yeah. And he just goes, oh, we don't get a lot of Japanese people here. That's pretty cool. So I have to stop him and go, hey, man, I'm not Japanese. And he goes, Segura. Segura! Sounds Japanese. I go, that's because you're saying it Japanese. I could be Smith, and if you want to go Smith, and it's Japanese. He goes, well, what are you? Which is fucking rude. Can I just say it's never important to ask that question? What are you? It's never important to ask that. It's sometimes important, but not a lot. When is it important? Sushi chef, accountant, 100-meter dash. Outside of that, sometimes it matters. So I tell him, I go, Segura is Spanish. And he goes, that's weird. You look white. I go, I am white. And he goes, but you're Spanish? And I go, correct. He goes, do you speak Spanish? I said, yes. He goes, so you're Mexican? And I go, no. And he goes, I don't know what's going on. I said, what's going on is you failed fucking social studies. And you're not too good at geography either. And then I see his head drop, like he feels bad. I'm like, look, man, you understand there's white people in Mexico. You know that part. And he goes, no, I don't. I said, there's white people there, there's black people there, there's even Asian people there. And if you really want to shit your pants, those Asian people, they speak Spanish too. You don't expect it, but they're like, dim sum, muy rico, si lo quiero probar, si no lo quiero probar, concha tu madre, nadie te quiere, anda la mierda. They are Asian, and they speak Spanish. I get in the car, he goes, is the temperature all right, sir? I go, it's fine. He goes, would you like a bottle of water, sir? And I go, you don't have to call me sir. You can just call me Tom. And at that moment, all of his professionalism went out the window. The very next thing he said was, you smoke weed? And I was like, I mean, yeah, sometimes. And he goes, do you want to smoke some now? And I was like, I mean, yeah. But I don't think my driver should be offering me, you know? He doesn't miss a beat. He opens the console, he takes out a joint, he lights it, he passes it back. I hit it out of respect, right, because he's old. And then I give it back to him, and the next thing he says is, yeah, I can't drive unless I'm fucked up. I'm like, do you hear what you just said? And he goes, yeah, I'm ripped right now. And I'm like, well, hands on 10 and 2, motherfucker, like, keep it together. He goes, is that all you do? Smoke weed? I can handle a guy that smokes weed. He goes, well, I love it all. I'm like, what's all? That's a broad statement. He goes, I love coke, I love heroin, but there's nothing like smoking rocks. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, I don't know what you're saying. Mind you, this is while he's driving, so it's actually like, I love smoking rocks, man. You know, I'm like, dude, turn around. So I go, can I ask you something? He goes, yeah, what's up? I go, what's it like to smoke rocks? I've never done that before. And he goes, ooh! I was like, is that the whole sentence? Is that it? He goes, that shit is the best. And what I like to do personally is I like to sit in my apartment and fire them up. And then I look out the peephole and I watch people walk around. And I just freak the fuck out about what's gonna happen next. And then he gave me a head nod like, doesn't that sound awesome? I was like, dude, that sounds terrible. That's called a panic attack, and that's a horrible sales pitch for crack. Now I'm definitely not gonna try it. We pull up to the airport, and I go, it's none of my business, but I think you're too old to be messing with all these drugs. And he goes, I don't do it anymore, Tom. Yeah, it was sir at the top of the ride. Now it's Tom, you piece of shit. I don't do it anymore. I did it when I was younger. And I go, all right. And he goes, I mean, I still do it every once in a while. But you know what they say. If you do something every once in a while, it's not that bad for you. And I was like, dude, I think they mean that about like pizza and chocolate. Nobody ever means that for crack, just so you know. He hates his real name, and this is something that came about a few years ago. And when it first happened, I got kind of nervous. So I did what you do in those situations. I asked other parents, and they were like, oh, it's just a phase. I go, what? He's a little phase. He's going through a phase. A lot of kids don't like their names, but it'll end in just a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a phase. Do you know how long it's been? About 3 years. That isn't so much a phase, in my opinion, as a new path. That's where I think we are. His birth name is Julian. That's what we've always called him, and that's what he used to respond to because it's his fucking name, right? He would also respond to variations of it. Julian, Juju, Jujito, Julian. And he'd be like, mm-hmm. And then one day, about 3 years ago, I was like, hey, Julian. He was like, don't ever call me that. I hate that name. When you say that name, I want to die. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So now this kid will only talk to us if we call him by his self-imposed name, which, buckle up, is teacher. Is there a creepier name to use when addressing a small child? Like, hello, my teacher. Is this The Shining? Because it feels like it. It feels like Jordan Peele's next movie, like a fucking kid from the woods that walks into town to follow teacher and live long. And you're like, okay. You get it, right? I walk into my own house and I go, is teacher here? And he goes, yes. And I go, hello, sir. And people have the balls to ask me, they're like, are you worried? Of course I'm fucking worried. The only other person I know that went by teacher is Charles Manson. So yeah, I'm worried.
I probably checked into 400 hotels this year. And when I tell you that this has happened to me more than half a dozen times, I am not exaggerating. Every hotel check-in begins usually the same. It's standard. Hotels, the people at the desk, they go, last name? And this just happened to me. Last name? And I go, Segura. And the guy goes, whoa, are you Japanese? And I go, 100%, yeah. And he just goes, oh, we don't get a lot of Japanese people here. That's pretty cool. So I have to stop him and go, hey man, I'm not Japanese. And he goes, Segura. Segura! Sounds Japanese. I go, that's because you're saying it Japanese. I could be Smith, and if you want to go Smith, it's Japanese. He goes, well, what are you? Which is fucking rude. Can I just say it's never important to ask that question? What are you? It's never important to ask that. It's sometimes important, but not a lot. When is it important? Sushi chef, accountant, 100-meter dash. Outside of that, sometimes it matters. So I tell him, I go, Segura is Spanish. And he goes, that's weird. You look white. I go, I am white. And he goes, but you're Spanish? And I go, correct. He goes, do you speak Spanish? I said, yes. He goes, so you're Mexican? And I go, no. And he goes, I don't know what's going on. I said, what's going on is you failed fucking social studies. And you're not too good at geography either. And then I see his head drop, like he feels bad. I'm like, look, man, you understand there's white people in Mexico. You know that part. And he goes, no, I don't. I said there's white people there, there's black people there, there's even Asian people there. And if you really want to shit your pants, those Asian people, they speak Spanish too. You don't expect it, but they're like, dim sum, muy rico, si lo quiero probar, si no lo quiero probar, concha tu madre, nadie te quiere, anda la mierda. They are Asian and they speak Spanish.
I'm sorry that I'm fat. I don't like when people like they feel. Sometimes you're like, yeah, you know, I'm fat, and they're like, Like, it's under my control, you know. It's not like weather where I'm like, oh, these fat pellets are raining down on me. Like, it just happens, you know. But sometimes when I'm eating and I feel feelings, I'll be like, nope. I'll just bury those under this. This is true. Every time I go out to eat with somebody, at least one person will be like, hey man, why are you sweating? Like, what's up with that? You know we're not racing. I'm like, we're not? I thought we were racing. No. The biggest boost to my day, I think, is when I eat myself out of breath. I don't know if you've ever done that before. It's fun when you're eating and you go, and then you have a chance to think about it. You're like, why did I just stop to take a deep breath? Oh yeah, my body also needs air. You fat fucking turd.
I'll tell you on a grand scale who's helping nobody lose weight. It's Starbucks. And this is true. They have a national training campaign to try to trick you into ordering food. And this is why. They know you're going to order a beverage. So they try to lead you into food. Pull into any Starbucks drive-thru, and now they greet you. They say, welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started for you to eat today? And you're like, wait, what? I just wanted coffee. And they're like, no shit. What else do you want? So then you're like, I don't know, sausage? Like, what do you have? I don't respect that. I like my shame straight up and honest. And nobody does that better than the West Coast burger chain In-N-Out. And if you've never been in In-N-Out, get your fucking life together and go. And I want you to go simply so you can experience the most shameful and honest question in all of fast food. Because you pull up and you go, I'll have a double, fries and a Coke. And they go, will you be eating in the car? Yeah, I think so. And they go, I bet you will, you fat fucking pile of garbage. Doesn't that question sting? You're like, am I living in my car? Why am I eating in my car? Because if you say no, they give you a bag and they're like, leave with dignity. But if you say yes, it's an open tray and they go, eat out of that, pig. And then it falls in your lap and they go, pick it up. And you're like, and they go, are you gonna jerk off when you get home because you're lonely? And you're like, yeah. We're gonna give you a free milkshake because you're bumming everybody out. We're fast food workers. You're making us sad. Get the fuck out of here.
I moved recently. Because of you nice folks, I could buy a nice house, and I'm very thankful for that. And yeah, thank you. I bought a house in a neighborhood, though, that I think is too nice, you know? Like, it kind of reminds me of a store. You ever walk into a store and, like, right away you're like, I should leave, like, when you get there? I feel like whenever they offer you something to drink in a store, that's a sign, you know? Some stores you walk into and they're like, would you like still or sparkling water? And you're like, I left something in the car. I'll be right back. Well, I mean, all my neighbors, they're like investment bankers and partners in legal firms, and then I'm there. Like, do you eat ass, or what do you do, man, you know? And they're like, thanks for buying a house. It's great to have you. Here's what's wild. A current or former United States Senator, I shall not say whom, lives in my neighborhood. Everybody talks about him. I know which house is his. I'd never met him. Now I'm home from tour, and I decide to start my day with a morning walk, a casual walk. You know, I have some coffee. Let's get the day started. I go for a walk. I walk past his house. He comes outside. I don't say anything, right? But he yells out. He goes, "Hey, are you the comedian?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Where do you think the term motherfucker comes from?" "Hello, it's nice to meet you." I go, "I don't know." He goes, "You think it's from people doing that?" I'm like, "Fucking their moms?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "I don't know." He goes, "How many people do you think do that?" I go, "More than you want it to be." And he's like, "Meow." Then, and I am not making this up, I could not make this up, he says to me, "How about daughter fuckers?" I go, "First of all, that's not an expression that anybody uses." Right? No one's like, "Check out this crazy daughter fucker over here." I go, "If you have kinks, we can talk about them, but not like this. I don't like this at all." And he goes, "Meow." And he just turns around and walks into his house. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" So I keep walking, just contemplating every mistake I've ever made that led me to that conversation. And now I'm walking home. So I walk past his house again. He comes back outside. He goes, "Hey, I didn't want it to end like that. That was weird." It was. He goes, "I thought about it. And a motherfucker is not somebody who fucks their own mom." I go, "Oh, do tell." He goes, "A motherfucker is someone who fucks your mom." He goes, "That's the most disrespectful thing anyone can do, so if somebody is particularly rude, you call them a motherfucker." And I go, "Wow." I am so impressed that you put that together so quickly. I can see why you may or may not be Ted Cruz. And then I walk away. Oops.
I still haven't found a place for it, but I'm working on it. So I met, like I said, I'm meeting a lot of people. I met a woman after a show recently. They're allowed at my shows. And see, they're here. And she came up to me and she was like, It's a very specific woman, all right? I do feel like I just did a 0.02 second impression. Everybody's like, I know exactly who you're talking about right now. So, because every city has. You know my favorite part of that woman is if you go, "Why are you laughing?" She'll go, "I'm not." Okay. So she comes up to me and she goes, "Funny show." And I go, "Thanks. Thanks, motherfucker. I appreciate it." So I go, "Thank you." And she goes, "Are you gonna go jerk off all over your hotel room now?" I was like, "Ugh." I said, "I'm probably just gonna pick a spot. You know, I'm not gonna do it." She goes, "Yeah, I get it." And I was like, "God." And she goes, "I'm super horny." And I go, "Okay." She goes, "I'm horny the way guys are." And I go, "No, you're not." And she goes, "Yeah. And I said, "You're really not." And she goes, "Yeah? Why do you say that?" And I said, "Let me tell you a little story. When I was a freshman in college, I looked like this. I looked 47 years old. It was alarming to other students. They would see me walking through the doors and they'd be like, "Are you a fucking administrator here or something?" I'd be like, "I'm a freshman, I'm 18. And they're like, "You're a narc, that's what you are." This is my birth face, man. I'm 41 Jump Street. So with this face came great responsibility. I bought alcohol for our entire dorm. I don't mean 3 or 4, everybody. It wasn't even a challenge. I looked so old that when I walked into liquor stores, they'd be like, "Hello, sir, how's the stock market today?" Shit like that. I bought booze to everybody. Everybody got booze. I did the same thing with pornography. And let me tell you, before you jump at me like, why would you do that? You just watch it in your dorm room online. Well, the story takes place in 1997. And there was a lot of buffering back then. That is the truth. I don't know if you remember the late 90s or if you were even around, but like porn in the late 90s was like, Who am I kidding? I use my right hand, so. Now, keep in mind, I'm not buying porn for a couple buddies. It is for an entire building of 18-year-old freshman dudes in college. You can't wrap your head around how massive and specific these orders were. I would go door to door, and guys would hand me cash and their wish list. They'd be like, "I want black cocks, asses, and feet. Don't fuck it up." I'm like, "All right." Do you know what kind of a psychopath I looked like? Walking through a porn store with a grocery list, like... Mom said not to forget. So one day, I am buying outrageous amounts of porn. And the owner of the store comes up to me. He goes, "You should go to this other store." And I'm like, that is a weird thing to tell your best customer, man. So I go, "Why?" And he just goes, "I just think you'll like it." And so I go, "Okay." I go. He sends me to, I don't know if you've ever been to a cement block building with no sign or address. The kind of building that's like, I don't know, you fucking guess what's in here. Like that? Well, I walk in and I see a man wearing overalls and no t-shirt, which I think we all know is the international uniform for the last guy you'll ever see. Now, this guy is behind the counter. He looks up and sees me, and the first words out of his mouth are, "Piss fetish?" And I go, "What?" "No." And he goes, "Oh, I got a full bladder. Don't want to waste it." And I go, "What the fuck?" I said, "Is that what you do around here?" And he goes, "Among other things." I said, "Well then, show me around. Like, let me see what else you have." I don't want to be closed-minded. So we go through the store. He shows me movies and toys. He goes, "We got a booth. You can put in a quarter." And I go, "Yeah, I got it." He goes, "But this here's our VIP. And you'll notice there's a hole in the wall. And if you're standing in there, someone might stick their finger through that hole. And they'll go just like this. And if you want to, you stick your prick in that hole and someone will suck it on the other side." And my dumbass goes, "Is it a guy or a girl?" He goes, "You see any other cars in that parking lot, Junior?" So then I felt a pool of diarrhea forming inside of me and fear shooting down my spine, as I was certain I was gonna get kidnapped and raped by Mr. Fuck Dynasty. So I said, "I'll just take my movies, thanks." So lady, when you say you're horny the way guys are, I ask you, are you willing to go into an unmarked building and wait behind a wall for a stranger to stick his dick through a hole in that wall and then you polish it off for the love of the game? Because that's what savages men are. And she goes, "Yeah, I'm not that horny." And I go, "I know." See, I just feel a responsibility to remind women of what pigs men are. If you're a woman and you're here with a man right now, you should know he is 2 drinks away from walking into that booth. And honestly, I'm no better. If he had answered my question differently, if I'd have been like, hey, is that a guy or a girl? And he went, I don't know. I'd be like, well, I don't fucking know either. So. Oh, yeah. Wow, she's got a rough chin on her for sure. Hey, where'd you go, man? I don't see you anywhere. All right, I lost some of you on that one. That's fine. That's how that goes. So, no, I see. Some women are like, My man would never do that. Okay, sure.
Oh, the crocodile hunter has died. But you know what? He had to die to balance out the universe, all right? If he would have lived to be 104 and died of fucking hay fever or something, the earth would have exploded, all right? Because he ignored one of the universal rules, which is don't fuck with animals, right? But he didn't just ignore it, did he? No. He waved his dick at it, didn't he? Yeah. He danced the foxtrot around it, you know? And all I'm saying is, if you're gonna run around the world and bang hookers every day for 20 years without a condom, you can't cry when it burns. Right? And normally speaking, don't you, whenever you hear of like a person getting attacked by an animal, don't you get kind of a little kick in your step? I'm the only asshole in this fucking room, really? I feel like somebody gave me a hug every time I hear about that shit. I don't give a fuck. Because there's a sense of justice to it. The person was probably fucking with the animal's territory, so I'm like, you deserve that, you dick. Like, haven't you ever seen the footage of the hunter he was out to kill, and his gun jams, and then a deer fucks him up? You seen it, right? He's like, oh, my shit, my gun jammed. Cock-a-doodle-doo. And then there's a little gangster-ass deer across the street, just eating berries and being pretty. And then he hears something. He's like, are you gonna shoot me, man? And then doesn't even hesitate. And it just goes, pow, like that. And he does the front shit where the guy goes down, and he does the back shit like, I'm so fat, I'm out of breath just from doing that shit right there. Christ almighty.
I absolutely ruin hotel rooms. Like, if you stay in a hotel room after I stayed there, shit is gonna itch on you, okay? Just being honest. Come on, hotels are great. Everybody loves hotels, especially when you check in with your significant other. Why? Because you know in a hotel, you're gonna have sex, but you're gonna have an elevated form of sex. You're gonna have hotel room sex, which is let's have sex, but let's also disrespect this room. Yeah. I do that too, except I'm alone. Like, I always wipe my balls on the curtains because I know they don't change those. Think about that the next time you want some sunlight. Or don't, just know that it's on your hand, you know what I mean? Bikes! I get like verbal tics, you know? I don't have Tourette's, I wish I did, it looks fun, but I'll just yell shit out. It's like a hook on a catchy song, except it's just stuff that I watch, and then bikes! I just yell it, you know? Over and over. Only like 2 or 3 million times. But I'm obsessed with the show Scared Straight. If you've never seen it, it's tremendous. Here's what they do. In the show, they take kids, middle school and high school kids that are getting in trouble a lot, and they send them to jail for a day. And the idea is that jail will scare the fuck out of the kid, and then he'll get his life together, hence Scared Straight. It's tremendous. I'm obsessed with one episode. It aired once in 1999. Here's what's great. It aired uncensored, which is bananas, And in this episode, they did not send the kids to jail like they normally do. Instead, they sent them to a maximum security penitentiary. Prison. And those prisoners verbally assaulted these kids into crying a lot. And it's the funniest shit I have ever seen in my life. First of all, don't feel like too bad for these kids are super badass. They're not like spitting spitballs in class and they're fucking stabbing other kids. They're badass kids, okay? And they show up to this thing with attitude. Like they walk in, they're like, what's up? This ain't shit. I run 6th grade. I ain't scared of you, man. Like, can't scare me. And they're greeted by a guy named Crazy Chris. Chris has scars on his face, and the screen freezes, and it says, Chris killed 6 people, and he's doing a double life sentence. Like, this dude is so bad that when he dies and he's reincarnated, that guy's doing life in prison also. So, this is a bad motherfucker right here. The kids are like squatting around, and Chris is like, hey, my name's Crazy Chris. And from now on, you will see me in your nightmares. And the kids are like, what the fuck? Like, I'm 12, don't talk to me like that, man, that's crazy. And then he goes, if I ever see you again, I'll take a bite out of each of you. And they're like, all right, we're all reformed now, thank you very much. So, Jesus, but they can't leave. The next guy comes up to him and he goes, hold my pocket. Hold my pocket. And he makes kids walk around holding the inside of his pocket. You understand? So he walks and then they're like, I don't know what you know about prison, but if you're holding on to another dude's pocket, it's gonna be a rough day, all right? Not only is this guy making kids hold his, he's talking ridiculous shit to middle schoolers. He's like, I'm gonna make you suck my dick for breakfast. Every morning. The kid's like, I hate breakfast. Funny shit like that. So, he's like, I'm gonna mush your motherfucking face. And the kid's like, so it's so fucking funny. There's one exchange where this dude, he pulls a kid out of line. The kid's like 13. He weighs, 100 pounds. And he has a bowl cut, okay? He has a bowl cut in prison. It's parted in the middle. And the prisoner goes, why are you here? And the kid's like, stealing? And he goes, the fuck you took? And the kid goes, bikes? And he goes, bikes! And that's why I yell bikes all the time. You should see me when we drive by a bike store. Holy shit. I'll be like, ah. And my wife, she's pretty over it. She'll go like, you get one. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make this shit count. So I'll pull over, I roll down the window, and I wait until I see somebody checking out one of the sidewalk displays, like all the bikes out there. And when they find one they really like, and they're like, oh, I like this one, I'll go, bikes! And they're like, what the fuck? And I'll go, stop selling drugs! And I drive up. Great. I can't tell you where to go. I can tell you where not to go. Wherever they film the first 48 on A&E. Oh, if you're not familiar with the show, here's what it is. Camera crews follow real homicide detectives for the first 48 hours after a murder. And the reason that that time distinction is so important is that after 48 hours, they give up on that murder. They're like, that's some old shit. What do you want to do today? You're like, how about you keep trying to solve that murder, man? That shit happened on Monday. It's Wednesday. We're not going to solve that shit. Really? There are so many amazing moments on that show. So many. A lot of the episodes take a similar path. I'm blown away, first of all, at how many times there's a witness to a murder. It's crazy. I always thought murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No. Every other episode, they're like, you see that shit? And the guy's like, I saw that shit, yeah. Where? Right fucking here. Really, I was standing here, and then he killed that dude there. What he looked like? He was like 5'2" to 6'8", something like that. And they're like, that's the fucking description you're gonna give us? Uh-huh. Anything else about him? Yeah, he had ears too. Thanks, man. No problem. They still will sketch that shit out. I don't know. And they show it to people. Do you know this guy? And everyone's like, nah. But then one guy will be like, yeah! That's Cricket right there. You're like, oh shit. You know him? I've been knowing Cricket 27 years. What's his real name? Man, that's just Cricket. I don't even know. Stop being white and weird. That's a perfect fucking impression, and you know exactly who that was, okay? Yeah, it's a black guy, and he's wearing a wife beater, and he's got on a dirty hat, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And he looks like he's about 33, but you find out he's 76 years old. And he speaks super aggressively to the cops. I've been out here for a minute! And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. When was the last time you saw him? He came through with jellyfish last week. They were looking for some smoke. And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. They always cut to the whitest detective from that guy, too. They cut from that guy to the guy who's like, I don't think he's going to help us out. We're going to have to find Cricket on our own. That show has the best moment in television. It's the most dramatic thing you could ever see, because it's real life, and that is the interrogation. The interrogation is amazing, because here's the thing about drama. If you want to have a great, dramatic moment, raise the stakes. Guess what? There's no higher stakes than somebody being questioned about taking somebody else's life. It's inherently compelling television. It is also super serious. But the detectives insist on using the suspect's street name, so the whole thing turns into a fucking cartoon. Like, they're literally like, your life is on the line. We need to talk to you. Why don't you have a seat? Little stank, why don't you sit down for a second? Did you or did you not know Dookie shoes? I don't know no Dookie shoes. I got a picture of you hanging out with Dookie shoes. I mean, I seen them. I don't know. And then they'll throw one bit of evidence against the wall, hoping it'll solve the case. They'll be like, well, we were talking to Namin, and he said that you were at the 7-Eleven last week. And he'll be like, yeah, I shot him in the face. And you're like, God damn, really? That's all it took to break you? Dude, lie. Lie for longer. You can kill somebody, you can't lie for 10 fucking minutes about it? Like, dudes will break on anything. They'll be like, we heard you had on a blue shirt last Friday. Yeah, I stabbed those 4 people. Dude, a lot of people have blue shirts, man. You can still get out of this. Here's what I've learned watching that show, okay? Lawyer up. You can't handle that shit. Everybody's like, I'm gonna talk to the cops and straighten this whole thing out. You're gonna do 25 to life. Have fun with that, man. Nobody asked for a lawyer. I've seen 300 people get interrogated on this show. 2 of them were like, can I talk to a lawyer? And both times the detectives were like, fuck! And then at the end of those episodes that said on the screen, all charges against Tayshaun were dropped. Or Jim, pick a fucking name. Let's be honest, there's no Jims on the show. I've seen every episode, and none start with, hey, Bryce, can we talk to you for a second, man? Where were you last Friday? I was over at Tanner's house. Then Skylar had a party, so we went over there. And then we picked up Connor and we had pancakes. Sorry, bro. Detective bro. You ever meet somebody and they're so boring, you feel like they poisoned you? Like, you're talking to them and you're like, I feel like I'm dying right now. And I think you did it. This guy's name is Craig. I met him. I made sure to get it. I was like, I'm gonna remember you for the rest of my life, man. I met him at the bank. Is he a bank teller? No. Is he a security guard? Nope. What's his job? I don't know. Whatever they call that guy that stands in the lobby of banks now, where you walk in and you're like, do you work here? And he's like, I think so. That guy? The lobby liaison? Well, I saw him. We made eye contact. I don't know how you work. For me, if we make eye contact during the day, not at night, but during the day, out of human decency, I acknowledge you. So that's what I did. We made eye contact, and I go, how you doing? And he went, and I was like, okay. So then I get to the second set of doors to walk in, and as I reach for that door, I hear, you going to the bank? I go, is this still a bank? He goes, yeah. I go, I'd like to. And he goes, go for it. And I was like, okay, thanks. And then I reach back, and he goes, I'm going to Virginia next week. Are you telling me that? He goes, you said, how you doing when you got here? I had to think about it. That's what I'm doing. I go, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard anybody say. And also not how that question works, but all right. And now I reach back, and he goes, yeah, my sister lives there. And I'm like, how long she lived there? Now I'm roped in. He goes, 15 years. And I go, you've never been? And he goes, Now I'm starting to look at him like, hey man, do you drive to work or does somebody drop you off? You know what I mean? I think he could. Yeah. I think he could see it in my face because out of nowhere he goes, I drive. And I was like, that's cool, man. That's cool. I drive too, that's crazy. I got to get in here. He goes, yeah, we're going to check out D.C. and we're going to see some monuments. I go, I would love to hear about it, but I have to make a deposit. He goes, well, I'll be here when you walk out. I go, you motherfucker. Fuck that guy, and fuck everybody like him. If you have the audacity to tell people how you're doing when they say, how you doing, that shit is rude and selfish, all right? I'm serious. There are two acceptable answers to how you're doing. Fine and great. And if you're miserable, you say fine. You don't burden people with your real world problems during a courteous exchange. Yeah.
I saw a racial fight recently, which is terrible, but I watched it. How are you not gonna watch? You're gonna watch every fight, you know? Fights have that weird quality. Fights are kind of like hand jobs, and that like you don't really want one, but you're like, well, let's see where it goes, you know? Like, will you give it a kiss? No? All right. So yeah. Had to take a shot. So I'm in Philadelphia, walking through the park in the middle of the day. Beautiful day in Philly, beautiful park. I'm walking through this park, and as I'm walking through it, I see a white guy, and he yells across the park to a black guy. He calls him a nerd. And when you hear that and you're in public, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's your first thought. And then another black guy, I don't know if he lived in the bushes, but he popped out of the bushes. Like, if this is a bush right here, I just saw a black guy go, no. Not in my park, But it's like, no one else saw that guy. Only I was like, oh my God, I see that guy! Like that. And it became my own personal movie. I watched him line up like the honey badger. He was like, that one? All right. And he sprinted across the park and he tackled the white guy. So instinctively, I just went, get him! But it took me a second to realize I'm the only other white guy in the park. Yeah, so like 10 black people turned and I went, no! Him. Our him. And they were like, what? And I was like, I'm out, that's what. And then they killed that white guy. And for the record, I don't give a fuck if they did. You know why? There is no such thing as white guy loyalty, okay? I mean, there is, but those guys are obvious as they hold torches, but the rest of us... are not having that shit. And let me tell you something, man. I'm jealous of interracial loyalty, because I see it. You know, if you're white, you see it with other races. Asian, you see it with black people for sure. What I'm talking about, there could be a dangerous situation. Let's say it's a fight, and there's a black guy in that fight. And then another black guy that doesn't know him will go, I'm gonna involve myself. Just on account of us being of the same race. At our core, we are brothers. I see that, I'm like, wow. Because when you're white and you're in that situation, you're like, fuck that guy. I don't know that guy. Do whatever you want to him. I don't give a shit. Let you do something like that guy in the park and then look at me like, hey man, are you gonna help out? You should know something. You're about to get murdered, okay? I will fucking take pictures as you're beaten and upload them, hashtag honky, hashtag dead honky, fuck you cracker, I'm out of here. Now,
My friend, I can hear her audibly say, I can't believe I'm thinking that. And I go, thinking what? And she goes, oh, nothing. And I go, what is it? She goes, it's embarrassing. And I go, well, just tell me. She goes, if I tell you, you'll make fun of me. And I go, I always make fun of you. Just say it. And she goes, no, it's just something, I want to keep inside. I go, but you said you want to do it, so just say it, and then you can make it happen. She goes, I don't want to. I go, listen, if you don't put it out in the universe, it'll never happen. You got to say it. What is it? And she goes, okay, I want to blow somebody in the Wu-Tang Clan. Now, I immediately think, what would my mom say, And I tell myself, don't be like mom. This is this girl's dream. So I look her dead in her eyes, and I go, you should try. There's a bunch of them. That's what I said. Now, 3 months later, she got on their tour bus, and she told them, and guess what? They all accepted. If you are not familiar, there are 9 guys in the Wu-Tang Clan. 9. So many guys. That's so many. Can we park for a moment at how many dicks 9 is? I don't even understand how anyone's sitting in their seat right now. There's people out here like, what else you got? Are you shitting me? That's not a lot. Close your eyes and picture 9 dicks. You're like, oh my God, they're everywhere. Yeah, because there's 9 of them. That's why. I'm not slut shaming. I'm saying objectively, 9 is a lot of anything. Like if I was like, I had cinnamon rolls today, and you're like, how many did you have? I had 9. You want me to take you to the emergency room, or you're gonna lose a foot by the morning? We should go. 9 dicks? Are you fucking shitting me?
Some of you, it took you 15 years to get to 9 dicks. This was a Thursday for this young lady. Try to imagine the physical labor involved with blowing 9 probably not small dicks. If you're not aware, the Wu-Tang fellas don't look like me, all right? That is some CrossFit shit at that level. If you think burpees are rough, try. Am I doing good? Do you like me now? Like, after how many do you think she was like, let's take a little break for a second? What the fuck am I doing? Why are they so mean about it? How many is that? 4? Fuck. Am I done? And they're like, no, you're not done. You got RZA, Ray, Ghost, Meth. No, you're not done. And she's like, but my neck hurts. And they're like, you gotta protect your neck. Don't you listen to our music? Yes. That is a top shelf Wu-Tang blowjob joke. Now, she was a real animal, you know. I asked her one time, I was like, if you could go back to that day and do anything differently, what would you have done? And she said, I'd have skipped lunch. So, I think that 69ing is overrated and it sucks. Yeah, you see that? Some people clap and some people are like, arrest this man. But listen, the story of why is more important. Do you remember when you first heard about it? I do. I was in 3rd grade, and that's too young, all right? One of the older kids told me, and I was like, what? At the same time? I almost had a seizure. I didn't know what he was saying. I didn't even have references so I could pretend like I understood. I was like, that's like eating a cheeseburger covered in ice cream while you're taking a shitter. And he was like, that's exactly what it's like. From that day on, I was hooked. When I tell you I was obsessed, I was obsessed. I'm not saying it for a story. It is all I talked about, thought about, dreamt about, sung about, joked about. 69, 69, 69, 69. Every notebook in school, I was like, 69, 69, 69, 69. Every sports team I was on, I was like, I'm number 69. And they're like, this is 5th grade basketball. Why don't you chill out, buddy? Every birthday, every Christmas, my dad goes, what do you want? I go, I want a 69. He goes, shut up and stop saying that. And I was like, no, defiant, no. 69, 69. It's gonna be the best, be the best, be the best, be the best, be the best. 69. It's gonna be like smoking meth out of God's dick. I wanna do it, I wanna do it, I wanna do it. And I built it up, and I built it up, and I built it up. And when I finally got to do it, You know what the first thing I said was? Get off me, all right? My neck hurts. I can't get my nose out of the way. Does it feel good? It feels like I'm working, all right? It'd feel better if you flipped over and polished me off, and then I'll do you. Why's it gotta be at the same time? Are we late for something? Is the youth pastor coming back in a few minutes? Let's take turns like we learned in kindergarten. What type of maniac 69s as an adult? I mean, if you're a guy, I hope you're at least a gentleman about it and you lay on your back and you're not one of these savage fucking pigs who's like, I prefer this angle. And then you can hear the fight to live underneath you. And you're like, yeah, that feels good. I bet it fucking does feel good. As you're throating that poor lady underneath you, I don't think there's a more horrific picture I can paint than that of a woman, a lovely woman. Like, picture your mom laying on her back
in anticipation of 69ing from the bottom. And she's like, what the fuck? And she's got that look on her face like, is the search party gonna find me here? And then a man, a disgusting man, like me, is like, well, saddle up, here we go. And there's dingleberries and lint. And here's your mom, and I'm like, pop, pop, pop. And then if I do that, I hear, what's on my forehead? And I'm like, that's my gut. That's daddy's wet trash bag gut.
God, it's so weird. People ask me, like, I get asked fucking travel advice from strangers. Can we just break down how crazy that is? Like, people come up to me and they're like, hey, you travel a lot, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, where should I go? I don't fucking know you, man. You ask travel advice to people who know you intimately. They know you well. They can guide you based on what they know about you. I mean, you don't ask strangers dining advice, right? Because you're like, hey, well, where should I eat tonight? I know I've never met you before in my life, but do you think you could give me a recommendation? Yeah, you should try this dim sum place. But then that person might go, oh, I hate the Asian world. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that about you. Like, yeah, I killed like 4 of them. Like, what are you, like a serial killer or something? Yeah. Now you're in an awkward conversation with a serial killer. Here's all I'm saying. I can't tell you where to go. I can tell you where not to go. Wherever they film the first 48 on A&E. Oh, if you're not familiar with the show, here's what it is. Camera crews follow real homicide detectives for the first 48 hours after a murder. And the reason that that time distinction is so important is that after 48 hours, they give up on that murder. They're like, that's some old shit. What do you want to do today? You're like, how about you keep trying to solve that murder, man? That shit happened on Monday. It's Wednesday. We're not going to solve that shit. Really. There are so many amazing moments on that show. So many. A lot of the episodes take a similar path. I'm blown away, first of all, at how many times there's a witness to a murder. It's crazy. I always thought murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No. Every other episode, they're like, you see that shit? And the guy's like, I saw that shit, yeah. Where? Right fucking here. Really, I was standing here, and then he killed that dude there. Like, what'd he look like? He was like 5'2" to 6'8", something like that. And they're like, that's the fucking description you're gonna give us? Uh-huh. Anything else about him? Yeah, he had ears too. Thanks, man. No problem. They still will sketch that shit out. I don't know. And they show it to people. Do you know this guy? And everyone's like, nah. But then one guy will be like, yeah! That's Cricket right there. You're like, oh shit. You know him? I've been knowing Cricket 27 years. What's his real name? Man, that's just Cricket. I don't even know. Stop being white and weird. That's a perfect fucking impression, and you know exactly who that was, okay? Yeah, it's a black guy, and he's wearing a wife beater, and he's got on a dirty hat, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And he looks like he's about 33, but you find out he's 76 years old. And he speaks super aggressively to the cops. I've been out here for a minute! And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. When was the last time you saw him? He came through with jellyfish last week. They were looking for some smoke. And they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. They always cut to the whitest detective from that guy, too. They cut from that guy to the guy who's like, I don't think he's going to help us out. We're going to have to find Cricket on our own. That show has the best moment in television. It's the most dramatic thing you could ever see, because it's real life, and that is the interrogation. The interrogation is amazing, because here's the thing about drama. If you want to have a great, dramatic moment, raise the stakes. Guess what? There's no higher stakes than somebody being questioned about taking somebody else's life. It's inherently compelling television. It is also super serious. But the detectives insist on using the suspect's street name, so the whole thing turns into a fucking cartoon. Like, they're literally like, your life is on the line. We need to talk to you. Why don't you have a seat? Little stank, why don't you sit down for a second? Did you or did you not know Dookie shoes? I don't know no Dookie shoes. I got a picture of you hanging out with Dookie shoes. I mean, I seen them. I don't know. And then they'll throw one bit of evidence against the wall, hoping it'll solve the case. They'll be like, well, we were talking to Naamin, and he said that you were at the 7-Eleven last week. And he'll be like, yeah, I shot him in the face. And you're like, God damn, really? That's all it took to break you? Dude, lie. Lie for longer. You can kill somebody, you can't lie for 10 fucking minutes about it? Like, dudes will break on anything. They'll be like, we heard you had on a blue shirt last Friday. Yeah, I stabbed those 4 people. Dude, a lot of people have blue shirts, man. You can still get out of this. Here's what I've learned watching that show, okay? Lawyer up. You can't handle that shit. Everybody's like, I'm gonna talk to the cops and straighten this whole thing out. You're gonna do 25 to life. Have fun with that, man. Nobody asked for a lawyer. I've seen 300 people get interrogated on this show. 2 of them were like, can I talk to a lawyer? And both times the detectives were like, fuck! And then at the end of those episodes, it said on the screen, all charges against Tayshaun were dropped. Or Jim, pick a fucking name. Let's be honest, there's no Jims on the show. I've seen every episode, and none start with, hey, Bryce, can we talk to you for a second, man? Where were you last Friday? I was over at Tanner's house. Then Skylar had a party, so we went over there. And then we picked up Connor and we had pancakes. Sorry, bro. The detective, bro.
You ever forget you have kids? Like you're having a great day. And then you're like, oh, fuck. I did do that. I was home for the first day of school this year. I took our youngest. He's in PK, pre-kindergarten. Cute little shit. I did drop-off. I don't mind doing drop-off. I don't like that he doesn't know when to start a story. He always waits till we pull up to school. I pull up to school. He goes, do you know what happened yesterday? And I'm like, why would you wait the whole drive? Oh, it's too late. I don't want to hear it now. I fucking kicked him out of the car. I go to pull out, and the teacher comes up to me. She goes, can you come in? And I go, no. I graduated a long time ago. I don't have to do anything. She goes, all the parents are in there. I go, even more reason why I don't want to come in. She goes, we're talking to the kids about COVID. I go, trifecta. I'm not coming in. She goes, we have a bunch of snacks. And I was like, all right, I'll see what you got. I go in there. She lied. Well, it's not parents, it's dads. They lured us with food. It's a bunch of fat dads shoveling food in their faces. We're gonna talk to pre-kindergartners, let me remind you, about COVID. These are 3- and 4-year-olds who say shit like, I like yellow. And we're gonna be like, there's a virus that has ruined the economy. All right, get out of here. So she's like, who wants to go first? And I was like, hell no. I stood back, and this fucking dildo in boat shoes, he's like, I'll go. He goes, I learned that every day matters. I was like, all right. Good one, dork. And then the next dad, he goes, I learned
that you never know what tomorrow might bring. I looked for his kid. I was like, is that your dad? And then I found my kid. I was like, don't play with that kid. You know? She goes, Mr. Segura, do you want to go next? I go, do you want me to go next? Okay, I'll go. Hey, kids. I learned, if you really want to know the truth, I'll tell you the truth. Honestly, I learned that I didn't really wash my hands before. Because I didn't. That's what I've taken from these last few years. Remember, because when it first broke, when they were like, this is AIDS in the air, and you're like, wait, what? What did you say? How do you get it? And they're like, do you ever touch stuff? And you're like, all the time, yeah. Wash your hands. Okay. Do you ever open doors? The CDC asked, do you ever open doors? So many, yes. Wash your hands. You got it. Now I do, I really do. But if I'm being completely honest, back then, I feel like I really only washed my hands when I had literal shit on them. You know, like, you know those wipes where your hand comes up and it's right here on your thumb and you're like, God damn it. I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm not a fucking lunatic. I'm not gonna see that I'm busy. I'm gonna, you know, I'll give it a real scrub. But even then, I'll check my work after. I'll check to see if I did it. Some of you are lying. Oh, I hate when people, oh, that's never happened to me. Really? You've never had a sloppy Joe just fall out of you before? Or a cherry bomb, you know, those, and you're like, it's on both cheeks? How's it on both cheeks? Too many Brussels sprouts. That's how. Now, those will get you. I took a crazy shit earlier today. Is pooping universal? Is that a thing? Here's something I just found out. I just found out that not everybody has diarrhea every day. I didn't know that. Seriously, here's how I found out. We moved. My wife and I moved to a new place. In the new place, the living room couch is closer to the bathroom than it was in the old place. So the second day we're there, I go in there, I do my thing. When I walk out, my wife is no longer sitting on the couch. She's now standing holding car keys, and she goes, do you need to go to the hospital? And I go, for what? And she goes, for what just happened in there. And I go, what just happened in there? And she goes, is that normal for you? And I was like, I don't remember what happened, so I guess so. And she goes, Jesus, how often do you shit like that? And I was like, every day. And she goes, oh my God, is there blood in there? And I was like, there could be, I don't know. Like, I just go, bop, and then I hit flush, you know? And she goes, you don't look at it? And I'm like, where am I supposed to look? It's everywhere. You want me to look at each individual piece? No, I fucking paint the bowl and then I wash it away. That's how I found out that not everybody has diarrhea every day.